We good? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Ainsley, you got a mouthful of food? Prince, yes.
Hallelujah.
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 Oh, great King. God of our forefathers, that Abraham, God of Yitzchak, God of Israel. Great mighty and revered God. He who said, let there be, and there is. Told out for your mercy, O great King. Your guidance and your love, O great King. Told out for allowing us to even come together, O great King, to do a Torah portion, Father. To enlighten our people, O great King, and to help them have something during the week, O great King, to cling to. That has to do with you, your Lord's statutes and commandments, Father. Ask that you be with us and be with our words, O great King, be with our minds. Allow us to speak right and not lead people astray, O great King. Told out for all things and everything. Told out for your mercy, O great King, and your love. That's it. Hallelujah.
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 Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and praises due to the power of our forefathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, the power of Jacob, maker, owner, possessor of all that is. Let us all say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Taking a second to pause, make a separation, giving due respect to the leader of Shema Yisrael, Hanasi, Zippor, thanking the Most High God for his life and asking that the Most High God continue to keep him, God, shield and protect him.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Giving due respect to second in command, Prince Nat Bain Hanasi, thanking the Most High God for his life and asking that the Most High God continue to maintain him and all that he's doing. And due respect to Prince Natael Bain Lewi, leader of Shema, leader of SOG, Slika. Due respect to anybody who's in the sound of my voice, the princes, the chief men, our viewers online. I bid you in the tongue of our ancient forefathers. Shalom Aleichem. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We back once again to do our weekly portion, Torah class, Torah portion. This week, I will be touching on a small part of the Torah portion, and then I will go into the Haftorah. All right, so we're going to emphasize a little bit more on the Haftorah for the simple fact that we touch on the Torah portion every Shabbat. All right, but this week, I just want to read 20 verses of the beginning of the Torah portion for the simple fact of its importance of the message that it's relaying in those verses. And then we're going to go forward to 2 Kings. All right. But right now we're going to turn to Exodus chapter 35, verse 1.
In the book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Moshe assembled all the congregation of the children of Israel and said unto them, These are the words which the Lord hath commanded, that ye should do them.
Now, these ain't Moshe words. And this is important. I had a conversation this week with a brother I love, real good brother of mine. He's on a job with me. He's a Christian. He's a hard-working brother. He's always striving to do that which is right. His heart and his mind is towards righteousness, but the interpretation of certain things are off. And this is important to know that what sets the Torah aside, because the Torah, the Tanakh, for that matter, is broken up into three things: the Torah, the prophets, and the writings. And it goes in that order. The prophets don't take precedence over the Torah. The Torah takes precedence over everything, the prophets and the writings. What sets the Torah aside, and you actually see this in the prophets as well, that's why the prophets come before the writings, is that this is the Most High God speaking to Adon Moshe, may the Most High God bless his memory. As it is written in the scriptures, pay to pay, mouth to mouth. All right? When Adon Moshe went up into the mountain for the 40 days and 40 nights, he communed with the Most High God. That was a level of communion that hasn't been spoken of or compared to in the scriptures from that point going forward. Am I right or am I wrong? So the connection that he has with the Most High God and the messages that he's bringing is different. It's not like any other. So we have Adon Moshe who is speaking to the children of Israel, and he's bringing a message to them from the Most High. And it reads,
6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be unto you a holy day.
Okay, so 6 days. Read on, I'm sorry.
A Sabbath of solemn rest
To
the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work therein shall be put to death. He shall kindle no fire throughout your habitation upon the Sabbath day.
So we kindling no fire. We understand. Some people might argue. We had a little inside joke going on. Some people might argue that, you'll be, I'm gonna make, my sacrifice, make my smoke on the altar. That's not how it worked. The priests were doing such things, and you have to understand that there was always a fire that was lit. You understand what I'm saying? There was always a fire that was lit. There was always a fire that was lit. All right. And the offerings that the priests were making were on behalf of Yisrael at some points, and these were offerings that were prescribed by the Most High God that they had to make on a day-to-day basis. There were offerings that were made specifically on the Shabbat. When we have holy days, there was offerings that were made specifically on those holy days when nobody could kindle a fire. You understand what I'm saying? Prince, yes, do you recall off the top of your head where it speaks in the prophets not doing our wanton ways? If you can find that and pull that up so we can read that while I continue to expound a little further. And what it's speaking about concerning the Shabbat is it allows you to understand that 6 days, and it makes a comparison in previous chapters that in 6 days Jehovah created the heavens, the earth, and all that in it is. But on the 7th day, he completed his work and rested. His work was complete and rested. And that was declared holy, a sign between us and him. From this time forth until that's it. It just is it's something that's never ending because the earth itself is never going to stop ending, as is written. So we have to understand that this is something that we can't elude. We can't get away from. The Shabbat is something that is forever, wherever you're at, no matter what you're doing. And the Shabbat is such a blessing because it gives us all the opportunity to rest, man. Rest your mind, rest your body. This is that one thing that's going to actually preserve you. Okay, when you get it. This is one of those things that that's going to actually preserve you. But it's so serious that if you break it, you're to be put to death. So these are one of those things that we can't play with. So when it comes to something that's so serious as that, and we can't play with it, we don't do exactly that. We don't gamble, we don't chance it, we don't speculate on it, we don't make a hypothesis about it. If it's clean cut dry, this is what we're not supposed to do. This is what it is for 1 out of 7 days. It's in our best interest to do just that to preserve our lives. Read on. Yes, please.
Read the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 13. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
If thou turn away thy foot because of the Sabbath.
If you turn away your foot because of the Sabbath.
From pursuing our business on my holy day.
From pursuing our business. So I sell dogs, or you may sell cars, or you may do this, or you may do that. And they don't actually require you to go put forth like sweat from your brow, or you to go out there and work and do something. It might be something as simple as sending an email that we got to separate ourselves from. Read on.
And call it Shabbat a delight.
And call it a delight. In other words, you saying to yourself that this thing is more, this is such a joy to me that nothing else can even bring any type of satisfaction to me to do it. So I shouldn't focus on anything other than observing the Shabbat. So all those secular things concerning business or anything, period, that's you pursuing your wanting ways. If you that dude that surf Instagram, if you that dude that's on Facebook and clicking videos and all of this nonsense, these are things that we got to remove ourselves from. For our children, them video games and all these things, nah. Because it says thy wanting ways. Those things that you seek to do, that you want, the desire to do on a regular basis, that takes your focus away from the Most High God. Read on, King.
And the holy of Jehovah honorable, they shall honor it, not doing our wanton ways, nor pursuing our business, nor speaking thereof. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will make thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
I will make thee to ride upon the high places of the earth. So it tells you, no matter what kind of deal you got going on, if I got a $10 million deal that can only take place on a Shabbat, I got to pass on that. And I can't take that in the manner of like, oh, damn, I'm hurt. Nah, I got to take joy in that. You know what? Nah, I can't do that one, man. You know what I'm saying? I got the Shabbat, man. Ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing compared to that. It says the Most High God is going to have you to ride upon the high places of the earth. So what he's going to bless you with concerning that is going to have you in a position better than what that $10 million can bring you. Because we understand that money don't bring happiness. There's people who kill themselves all the time that have money. Millions of dollars. So there's something concerning what the Most High God can bless you with concerning peace and other things that money can't give you. This is why it says, this shall be your wisdom in the eyesight of the people. And that's what we got to cling to. Let's go back to the portion, King. Torah.
In the book of Exodus, chapter 25, verse 4. And Moshe spoke unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, take ye from among you an offering unto the Lord. Whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it.
Now, I'm going to highlight that offering aspect because it says of a willing heart. Now, we read this portion earlier this month. We went Exodus chapter 25, verse 1. It starts off the same exact way. And it's talking about of the willing heart. We covered that Torah portion. Now we're back to this portion again. It's reiterating something, right? But it's also speaking of an offering. There's no light in there. It's speaking here. Here, put that on the thing. He's speaking of an offering, right? I want to highlight something concerning this offering that it just so happened to come out in conversation amongst the brethren just now. This is the only offering that you allowed to give of yourself that you can choose from. Now, it gives you specifics. We're going to read the specifics, but you can actually choose from it. So, this is my favorite ring. You know what I'm saying? This is gold, but this is gold too, and this is gold. But I can say, you know what? I'm giving this. Because it says of the willing heart. Give an offering of your, meaning that you saying to yourself, I'm going to give. But you got a choice in the matter. Everything else, it tells you specifically the first of your flocks. This, that. It's specific. This is the only thing that we got a choice in that we can give of the Most High God. And it's supposed to come from the heart. And it's supposed to be a joyous thing. But I point that out is because when it comes to offerings, it's very precise and specific with what we're responsible for. We can't just take anything and offer it up. You can't take from the hand of a stranger, right? And you can't do it wherever you so choose to do it at. Because in the scriptures it says, I believe it's Deuteronomy chapter 12, if I'm correct. It says, only in a place at which I choose to call my name. We understand that here, that ain't that place. Any other place, that place don't exist right now, right or wrong. So that means certain offerings, all offerings, except for the offerings of our lips, as spoken of in Nehemiah, we can't give. And that's so much as a commitment. That's so much as saying, I'm not going to do this no more, and actually don't do it no more. Read on.
Whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it. The Lord's offering, gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram skin.
Did it say your favorite?
I read it.
It didn't say your favorite. Did it say the first thing that you obtained ever in your life? They didn't say that. Right? All right. Read on.
Sealskin, and acacia wood, and oils for the lights, and spices for the anointing oils, and for the sweet incense, and onyx stones, and stones to be set for the ephod.
What verse you at?
And for the breastplate, man, verse 10 right now.
Okay.
And let every wise-hearted man among you come and make all that the Lord hath commanded.
Why did it say wise-hearted? Why did it say that? Because you are wise to try to offer something up to the Most High God. That's a wise thing to do. Because in further scriptures, this is in the writings, it says, it's like almost trying to say lending to God, which we can't do. But the blessing that you get from such a thing is unmeasurable. That's why it's wise. You have an opportunity to give of something that came from your hand that's gonna that's gonna contribute to the works of the Most High God. That's a wise thing to do. So how much less yourself? I'm gonna just flip that a little bit. Don't you think it's wise for us to take time out of our day to pray to the Most High God? Don't you think it's wise of us to take time out of our lives to try to commit our works for the Most High God? Don't you think it's wise of us to take time out of our lives to try to build something that's going to exhibit righteousness so that we could be that light to the nations? Don't we think that's something wise to do? The words that are used in the scriptures ain't just there for just to be there, just because it's poetic and it sounds good, like we writing a poem or a rhyme. It's there for a reason. It's conveying a message to us. Read on, Prince.
The tabernacle, its tents, and its coverings, its clasps, and its boards, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets, the ark and the staves thereof, the ark covering the veil of the screen, the table and its staves, and all its vessels, and the showbread, the candlesticks also for the light, and its vessels, and its lamps, and the oil for the light, and the altar of incense and its staves, and anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the screen for the doors, at the door of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offerings, with its grating of brass, its staves, and all its vessels, the laver and its base, the hanging of the court, the pillars thereof and their sockets, and the screen for the gate of the court, the pins of the tabernacle, and the pins of the court, and their cords, the plaited garments for ministering in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments for his sons, the ministers, in the priest's office.
You can stop there. You can stop there. I wanted to read that aspect of it because just that very portion right there, once we go into the Haftorah portion, that's the connection. Yes, we intersect the Haftorah portion is in 1 Kings chapter 7, verse 40 through 50. All right, 1 Kings. You did, yeah, that's the one you said before. You're right. That's Shemuel. So I read that portion because that's where the connection is at. And the portion for this week, it starts off with the gathering of those offerings that people made from that came from them willingly, from their heart to construct the temple. And then as we read in 1 Kings, we'll see the correlation right there. When you're ready.
We're in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 7, verse 40. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Haran made the pots, and the shovels, and the basins. So Haran made an end of doing all the work that he wrought for King Solomon in the house of the Lord. The two pillars and the two bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, and the two networks to cover the two bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, and the 400 pomegranates for the two networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, and the 10 bases and the 10 ladders on the bases, and the 2 in the figure, and the 1 seat, and the 12 oxen under the seat, and the pots, and the shovels, and the basins, even all these vessels which Haran made for King Solomon in the house of the Lord, were was a burnished brass. In the plain of Jordan did the king cast them, in the clay ground between Sukkot and Zarethan. And Solomon left all the vessels unweighed, because they were exceeding many. The weight of the brass could not be found out. And Solomon made all
so that means that those things were so heavy that Solomon put forth that effort to where it's like, and let's backtrack a second, because the things that Solomon is using was things that were collected by his father. You understand what I'm saying? But his father couldn't put forth his hand to do this because what it said is too much blood on your hands, right? So, but it was in King David's heart to collect all of these things in a manner that it couldn't be measured. Because when you see what Solomon used to construct these things, it was so much of it that it couldn't be measured. You know what that means? Do you know how heavy those things were? How many of those things it were? But this is how we got to move. This is where our heart has to be directed. That's another connection right there, because it's showing you the state of a heart of what your heart should be. It said of a willing heart, right? And then it said those who and as I'm speaking, it comes into play even more, right? Because the word wise, those who are wise at heart. But then you see King Solomon's effort, who was supposed to be what? One of the wisest men on this earth. So what you saying? By giving of yourself, committing yourself to the works of the Most High God willingly, that's so wise that it could almost be on a level in one aspect, not all, in one aspect as the wisest man on this earth that walked this earth. We see the connection here. But we got to understand the message that the scriptures are relaying to us. To the point with King Solomon, that means that he's just like, yo, just where's do you know unmeasured? You know what that means? That's like, yo, just work. Don't even stop. Just work until the Shabbat come and keep working. And then you look at it later like, wow, we got a lot. We're not even gonna measure that. All right, let's move to the next thing. But that's how we're supposed to be for the Most High God. Limitless. That's what that is. Unmeasurable is like almost limitless in concept. But read on, King.
Solomon made all the vessels that were in the house of the Lord, a golden altar, and the table whereupon the showbread was of gold, and the candlesticks 5 on the right side and 5 on the left, before the sanctuary of pure gold, and the flowers and the lamp, and the tongue of gold, and the cups, and the snuffers, and the basin, and the pans, and the fire pans of pure gold, and the hinges, both for the doors of the inner house, and most holy place, and for the doors of the house, that is of the temple of gold.
That's it. That's where the portion ends.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So it's just 10 verses. It's a short portion, but there's a lot of information that's in that portion. We got to learn to look into the scriptures, and it's so funny. It's the simplicity of it. It goes to many different levels, but it's so simple. It's just grasping different concepts that the scriptures are trying to relate to us, that could get us on a level that's next to none. That can get us on a level that can't no other nation compared to on the face of this earth. And a lot of it focuses on dedication. Dedication. The beginning of the portion, he gathered. So this is us trying to gather ourselves together so that willingly we can come together and give of ourselves to the works of the Most High God. And that's wisdom. Us moving in that manner is exhibiting so much wisdom that it compared it to the wisest man that walked the face of this earth. And you've seen his efforts. But this is the way that we got to move. This is the mindset that we got to move with. It can't be something that's like, I really got to get this? Like, for real? In other words, when you chilling at the crib, you're like, damn, I really got to get up. I really got to do this. That can't be the energy that we approach the works of the Most High with. That's backwards. There's no wisdom in that. There's no blessing in that. There's nothing to gather from that. We can only lose moving like that. So in concept, we got to change the way that we move, change the way that we think, especially when we're moving concerning the works of the Most High God. And that's important. That's what I got from this. Short portion, but it's a lot in there. So anyway, I pray that y'all got something out of this. Anybody want to add anything? No? All right. Nice and simple tonight. I pray that y'all got something out of this. Of course, stay tuned to what we got for a Rev Shabbat taking place tomorrow. I don't know to speak off the top of my head. You funny. um, Next week, stay tuned. Me and my brother, Prince Nat. We got our podcast. You can check out our YouTube channel. It's called The Remnants Recap. That's our YouTube channel. Check that out. We got our first podcast up there. We got an Instagram. We got a website. All these things that's in the work. We'll definitely be presenting that next week. But I pray that y'all got something out of this. Any questions or comments, shoot us an email. ShemayYisrael297@gmail.com. Of course, any donations are greatly appreciated so we can continue to upkeep this place and improve the quality of our lessons and our services. You can go onto our PayPal, type in our click send money, friends and family, type in our email address, ShemayYisrael297@gmail.com. We got Cash App. The phone number to the Cash App is 347-989-4869. Or you could just go to Cash App, type in our email address, which once again, ShemayYisrael297@gmail.com. Check out our website, www.shemayisraelinc.org. All right, we got a lot of content on there. You can log on, create a profile, communicate, forums, different things. We got a lot of things in the work, and just stay tuned. But with that said, we're going to end out with a prayer by my Bane. Come.
Study out for all things and everything. Study out for food, clothes, shelter, wisdom, and knowledge and understanding. Thank you for the clothes on our backs, and thank you for the food that you gave us, Maria. And please make sure our family and me and our cousins and everybody live a long life and a good life. Aliyah, Amen.
Hallelujah. Amen. Good job. All right, shalom.